Our next speaker is... Oh, you again? Okay. Okay.
I hope you aren't sick of me yet. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Emmett. I use she, her pronouns. Yeah, I'm for trans liberation, and I got a little something to say. Like far too many queer folks, I've had my life threatened under the perceived assault my identity inflicts on those around me. When I asked the boy who threatened my life with a knife for an explanation of his action, for a reason so that I might think more clearly about the unthinkable possibility of my own death, there was no action for him to point at. Rather, simply the original sin of my identity. It was my identity, my queerness, that was such an assault he felt he needed to defend himself with lethal force. This idea of our very identity being threatening enough to warrant lethal self-defense has been codified into the American legal system. Gay and trans panic defense laws, which exist in 35 of our 50 states, allow for those who have been murdered or assaulted on the basis of their identity, for those who have murdered and assaulted them to walk free, on the basis that our identity sent them into a panic, that it was a threat. This is extended to the defenses of provocation and of self-defense. If you allow me to translate from the legalese that is our system, this means that if you are queer, in 35 of our 50 states, you have provoked violence. You have warranted self-defense by existing. And I get that some of it are hot, and that might threaten some of, the cis-hets, but I don't quite see what's so threatening about someone being who they are. Queer lives are seen as so dangerous to our fellow classmates, to our colleagues, to our fellow citizens, that they are protected by the state when they kill us. The same state that sends riot cops to Pride. The same state that polices trans bodies under the auspices of preventing prostitution. The same state that looks the other way when queer children are brainwashed and abused in conversion therapy. If you are still reeling from the fact that in most of our country, I or any other queer person you know could be legally killed, allow me to blow your world a little further. 8 years ago, in 2013, there was no state that had banned gay panic defense laws. That means as of 2013, any queer person you know could have been killed in any state and their murderer would have walked free. In 2017, when Maxwell Fox Kemper put a knife on me, he could have walked free. Rhode Island only enacted its law in 2018. And as these states pass these laws, as these states grant us the ability to not be killed, do not feel gratitude. Because it is not gratitude we should feel, it is rage. Queer rage. The same rage we felt at Stonewall, the same rage we felt when the government turned a blind eye in the AIDS epidemic, the same rage we felt in Washington Square Park when New York City turned riot cops on the Pride celebrators this year, the same rage we felt this week when pro-trans protesters in California were attacked with a knife. Why should we have to beg and plead for a right as basic as to not be killed and to not have our killers protected by the state? This is not a gift. This is the minimum. Whether the person in the White House is gay or straight, cis or trans, black or white, they do not have the power to affect the culture that sees trans lives and gay lives as less than. They do not have the power to prevent us from being killed. The man who spit on the ground in front of me and called me a faggot days ago for dressing like this is not swayed by the fact that we have a Democrat in the White House. He is not swayed by the fact that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is making change in Congress. It is with a heavy heart that I say that no one will protect us but us. If you're queer, especially if you are trans, learn to defend yourself. Learn the weapon laws in your state. Figure out what you can carry legally. If you don't defend yourself, no one else will. Every single trans person, especially trans femmes that I know, has a story like mine or worse. I'm lucky. I got to go home. Last year, 36 people could not go home. 36 trans people were killed. Highest year on record. And this year, as of July, 28. If you don't defend yourself, no one else will. 28 communities this year have lost a member. Protect yourself, protect your communities, If you are cis, look out for your trans friends. If you are cis and straight and you aren't willing to put your life on the line to defend your trans neighbors, we don't want you in this movement. We don't need you. Get out. And that means donating. That means showing up. That means showing up at events like this, and at rallies, and at marches. And that means that when trans people get mad and break shit, you don't police us. Sorry, y'all, my phone fell asleep. Give me a minute. Finally, if you are queer, join some mutual aid projects. Help each other out. If you can't join, donate. We protect us. No one else will. Thank you.